Good morning from Randoland, or good afternoon if you happen to be in EU where Brogor is. This is the final weekend of groups. I cannot believe we are already here. 3 weeks have basically just flown by. We are wrapping up, in this case, for just the last set of races. Before we move on to the bracket stage, we have one of the last races here in Group AF playing Ambrosia. We have Zelgadissan versus Brogor. Zelga is playing for his seeding position in brackets. If he wins versus Brogor, he will nab the first seed. If he does not take a win against Brogor, then he will be the second seed, and Will WC in his group will be the first. Brogor here is just for the fun experience, as you can see, and man, do we also have some great racers, great matches, and great music, and great commentary. I am Claire Mouse. I'm joined by the one, the only Adirondack Rick, veteran commentator, admin. It's going to be a good time. How's it going, Rick? Ready?
How can I even answer that kind of setup? What a setup I got here from Clear Mouse. Welcome, everybody. This is the final match of Group AF. And this, once again, as you mentioned, does determine the seeding here for this group. If Zelga wins, it will be a tie at 5-1 between Zelga and Will. Zelga will get the number one of the group based on the quartile. If not, Will gets that number one. However, I think at 5-1, Will be in pretty exclusive company to be a second seed at 5-1 should Zelga win this race.
Oh yeah, and we do say that like every single group basically is extremely difficult. We've seen actually the skill level of top 128 runners. I mean, like everyone is so good. I would venture to say that Group AF is definitely on the more difficult ones to get out of. I mean, you've got Zelga, Will WC, Brogor, and NY Rambler. I mean, you have no idea who's going to basically make it out because just everyone is just so good.
All right, so as you notice, we got Ambrosia here, and we found out that our boots are in the dark world. And we start off with a fire rod as they begin this seed, which is a nice, helpful thing here with this execution early on.
Yeah, especially, we get an early map check too. It looks like actually 3 crystals in the light world, I believe. It looks like a red crystal and a desert. But yeah, I was gonna say, so Rick, we're going to the dark world. We're gonna probably need like some sort of, fire source or light source in order to light our way, right? Fire rod in Link's house seems very handy.
By the way, I can tell you that the Desert Palace is going to be our 5-6 portion here. So that turns out to be one of our red crystals. Now, again, as you mentioned before, this match does have some implications. We'll go ahead and talk about a hammer in that chest.
Okay. Yeah, so, Ambrosia, of course, is a standard star. We do get an assured sword, but, if those of you who might have been around in the last tournament, main tournament, it was all standard start with a, random weapon. But, like today, we're going weapon overload. We got a starting fire rod, basically, hammer, sword. We're going to see maybe Kana Samaria later on. Rick, what do you think?
Yeah, let's go ahead and give them that right now. Let's give them that.
Like what? Go mode and escape? Is that possible? I don't think it is, but maybe.
I mean, if that happens, that'd be amazing. Of course, we're still trying to get ourselves some bombs here, so that way we can get the back view of escape without any sort of issue. We see both of the runners clinking into the guard here, which caused a little bit of an issue, but both do this pretty sub. I mean, yeah. Zelga, Brogor, they have done this escape like 1,000 times at this point.
Yes, if not more. And of course, yeah, Zelga, you actually watch him, picking up basically, a heart. It is, pretty important here not to die, especially, we don't really have any other, real movement, no hook shot, no boots. To die at this point, it would certainly be a bit of time loss, but I think it also doesn't set a very good tone, probably for the rest of the race.
All right, after the first several hype items, now we've got ourselves a key in a map. I know we have to find these things, but I was so hoping for that Kana Samaria that you promised me.
Yeah, and I'm actually noticing, if you, murmurings here in chat, if you get a Kana Samaria, maybe an ice rod, are we gonna go up to Turtle Rock, basically, pending a medallion? course, if we get all that stuff early, we do see 3 crystals in the light world. We might have an inkling as to whether or not Todoroki is going to be a pendant versus crystal.
Fortunately, it looks like the guards are in part of that health drop group, so it does not look like we're going to see any bombs come up from then. So we're hoping to get something off the ropes down in the sewers.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, whether or not, we actually end up getting, prize pack knowledge is actually very important, right? Because if you know if you're going to get a bomb pack, it actually might be worth your while to try, farm something just so you don't have to, lose, the back of escape and have to come back. If you know your prize packs, though, and you know that you're not getting it, you know for sure also that your opponent is also not getting bombs, so you have a lot more, like, mental, comfort, right? Knowing that, both of you have to basically come back to escape.
Yeah, if your price packs are not paying out for you, the same thing has happened to your opponent. So you don't feel bad about not getting the bombs. You don't feel bad about having to return. The ultimate question is do you get the gloves to make it easy to come back? Or does this game force you to come back later with bombs and go through the sewers again?
Yeah, and with advanced logic, the fact that we have a fire rod means that we can actually, come back here.
And I noticed Brogor is still trying to kill some guards, maybe not getting the hint that the health drop group is the guard, so therefore a little extra time spent on these kills. And that's one of these things that could make or break a race.
Yeah, right. And, people kind of, some certainly can kind of maybe like scoff out that, oh, it's only escape, it's only, the first, few minutes, of the race. There have been some definitely very close races that we've had, in the past, sets of groups, and if you end up losing, let's say by, like 10, 15, 5 seconds, well, you could probably save those, seconds from like anywhere, right? And in front of escape is certainly a good place to look.
And yes, I am being reminded that the ropes and the guards are in the same prize pack. And unfortunately, the rats are part of the arrow dropping group, so no bombs whatsoever here in the escape. We're not getting any sort of inkling of what's in the 3 chests back here. So they're going to be lingering over us for quite a while.
Yeah. But of course, right. And so certainly, Zelga, I'm sure Brogor also know that, because there are no bombs available, both of them will have to come back. And I believe also answer a question earlier that I saw in chat. So I believe Zelga's sprite is Gina Lestrade from the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which is also part of the same MSU.
Yeah, that does lead us to identify the MSU that we are going to be talking about here for Zelga. As you just mentioned it there, Brogor is going to be using the Final Fantasy VIII MSU if we have to head on over towards their audio here.
Yeah, this is, and actually the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles MSU, actually Zelga is the author of it. And I think he did quite a good job basically putting this all together. Alright.
So Zelga heading straight for the Lost Woods, and Brogor looks like we might be getting a lumberjack check over here. Again, for those of you who just are tuning in, we know that the boots are going to be located in the Dark World, and there's some money for us, which is a nice find.
Yeah, also Brogor kind of giving us a sneak peek before Zelga, looking at the bushcraft. So Zelga's certainly not going to care at this point. Brogor might be a little bit more concerned. Although, the fact that they did kind of scrounge up 60 rupees, even before the 300 that Zelga found in the mushroom spot, it would actually give them enough money to go buy some bombs, so they wouldn't be, totally vacant in Kakariko. Although, Zelga's finding some pretty good items, when you say, Rick?
We'll reflect on this later.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. Alright, yeah, 300 in the mushroom spot, a mirror in the Lost Woods dropdown. Early mirror, especially, Zelga being part of Team Spoilers, I believe they're actually more partial to the mirror than those elusive boots that we've seen. So certainly probably going to make him a little bit happier to see that.
So Kakariko Village, will this be Stakariko Village? It looks like we're going to go ahead and check the well first.
Yeah, Zelga looks like he's dropping in early, hoping that he's gonna find a bomb before he has to walk out. Looks like his luck, though, is not with him this time around. So it looks like he is gonna have to come back to the well. Oh, jeez. Good thing we found the money, huh, Rick? That was a very, very important and not so cheap purchase from the bottle vendor, getting us our first glove.
Yeah, I think that was somewhat important. Also, just because we didn't get a chance to mention it, it was a heart container that was located in the lumberjack that Brogor showed us.
Oh, right, yeah. Good thing you reminded us, because especially me, when I saw it and it wasn't anything important, I just totally forgot. So. I also want to put shout outs to our awesome tracker Sirius X. I mean, you can see that basically, we are having a pretty stacked early game. Everything is marked pristine on our tracker, so thank you so much.
We need more things lit up on this tracker.
We do. You know what? We're getting closer, right? We did get our first glove on Zelga's side. Brogor's going to get that very shortly. That is, one closer piece. 2 dark row. We are going to need another glove, or well, we also need a move pearl at this point.
Well, we already have the hammers, so therefore all we're just missing out on now is that moon pearl.
Yeah. Yeah, and we actually start to see a slightly different, route through Kakariko. It looks like Brogor wasn't willing to take any extra chances. Immediately, basically went to the south of the village in order to, buy up some bombs. Pretty happy in this case that, Zelga ended up coming back for. Probably not, a major progression item per se. Maybe if we get like a hook shot or something like that. But the early money here, especially 300, putting him over, the Zora limit, so it would be very, very appealing.
Now they can buy more bombs.
Yeah. As if they didn't already, have a plethora of weapons, at their disposal, right? Fire rod, hammer, sword, another sword. Okay, Armar, you know what? Never mind. I take it all back. Zelga's probably like, why did I come back here? To the back of the well. Oh, speaking of hookshot, alright, well. Rick! Where are you going? Are you gonna sequence break up the mountain? We got the hook shot. We got a mirror. We got a hammer. We got South Shore available to us. We can we got the dam.
No.
So many options, right? Well, what do you do?
I think that I would do exactly what these two are doing and go check the back 3 of Escape that we never got to check.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Finally, with a flush with cash, we ended up buying some bombs, and here we are, be able to access the back here.
Yay! Bombs that we needed to get to the back 3 of Escape are in the back 3 of Escape.
Yeah, always nice to see you getting a refill on your resources when you had to go use it.
Now we go to South Shore. I don't think you break the mountain just yet. I think you wait for one more component to bring you over there.
Okay.
Although Brogor seems to be thinking the opposite here. Like, there's just so much over here, and if you get the Moon Pearl down here on South Shore, then you're just a Titan's Mitt away from being able to get everything on the mountain. But that Moon Pearl could very well be up on the mountain too.
Oh yeah. No, that's this is the one of the beauties, features of Randomizer is that you are faced with all these wonderful decisions, and that certainly have a bit of consequence. All right, so we did actually see Zelga, the rule of fire today is certainly not going to apply because we just found bombos in the dam. So certainly no having to dive into Ice Palace looking for our other fire source. Although I guess maybe the lamp might be able to be in there too. Speaking of a lamp, though, now Brogor does not have one. You can certainly see him, using the boomerang, basically as echolocation in addition to that sword. Safely makes it up the mountain. Ooh, Rick.
Why are you humming?
Well, so Brogor, got a cape off of, the old man. I guess he really wants to stay invisible because nobody could see him in the dark room, and I guess we're going to continue that. I guess it would depend on, where that lamp is, but, we might be paying a visit back to the castle, if things hold up.
What? We really want to see the blue guard that badly?
Well, I feel like, he has been looking for looking for some looking for like some activity or a raise or something. Feeling a little bit lonely.
How about the red guards?
Those guys can just basically stay where they are. I don't want to see those guys, for sure. Because I only want to see them when I have boots, and they move too fast. Otherwise,
only Usain Bolt moves that fast.
Mm-hmm.
Blue mail. We get ourselves 20 rupees. There's the Moon Pearl Titans on the mountain. So,
holy cow!
You remember that? You remember that scenario I was telling you about fighting the Moon Pearl down in South Shore?
Oh my gosh! Dude,
that setup right there.
Yeah, X has, man, he has got his work cut out for him because we just ended up getting like 10 items. Yeah. It is so Zelga ended up finding Blue Mail and more importantly the Moon Pearl. This is Dark World access broker. Sequence broke up to the mountain, had Paradox Gate. I don't even think I kept track of everything. We found Kata Samaria, we found Titan's Mist, we found a book. I believe we also found Tempered Sword. Somebody found Ether at some point as well.
Ether?
The medallion. I want to say that maybe it was on Zelga's side.
I know he found Bombos, which was at the swamp.
Yeah, it was either, I think it was in Mini Moldorm Cave, where we were so excited with all of the other things that we ended up finding.
Alright, so Zelga did get Ether inside of the Mini Moldorm Cave. And of course, Brogor's got himself a bacon sword.
Yeah, and as you said earlier, Rick, potentially one of the plays, that Zelga was thinking about by putting off the mountain was maybe he could find the Moon Pearl. Of course, we know from Broker's side that the myths are also up here on the mountain. So when Zelga does come up here, he's going to be able to do both light Death Mountain, Light World Death Mountain, and Dark World Death Mountain as well.
Yep, so that could become very, very critical there. And, the main game turns out to be how many times do you go up the mountain could really come into play.
Mm-hmm.
If you go up to the mountain a lot of times, you could find yourself bleeding time. There are races where the win and loss difference is how many times did you have to go up the mountain. Now, Zelga is prioritizing the Death Mountain, or rather the Dark World here, because of what the old man told, or the uncle told us before he left the house.
Yeah, no, for sure. And of course, Dark World, I believe, means more overworld stuff. So like if the boots, the boots won't be in a Dark World dungeon. Like otherwise, it would say the boots are in Thieves Town or something like that.
Correct. Mm-hmm. All right, Ether tablet check here for Brogor, and that turns out to be 300 more rupees because we didn't have enough rupees already.
Yeah, but looks like though Brogor is making very good progress on his own. He doesn't have Dark World. He technically has Dark World access, but of course no Pearl that we saw in Mini Moldorm Cave means that he can't get there yet. But he is targeting his first crystal dungeon. Speaking of more medallion, we saw Zelga completing his collection with Quake being dug up.
Which means you're guaranteed access into one of our medallion black dungeons should you have the ability to access them in regards to Turtle Rock or Misery Mire. Obviously, we can't at this very stage because Zelga's missing the mitts. He will get them when he gets up to the mountain. And missing the flute, which we don't know where that is yet. Plus, no Titan's Mitt yet either.
Yeah, and we do actually see, from our tracker, who is super busy but doing, a great job. Misery Mire is marked as a pendant, so we may not actually, see that flute today. I mean, we would certainly really like to see it, right? But it gives you a lot of light road mobility. But if the pendant dungeon is not required, that flute could be, in GT or buried somewhere.
And Moldorm going down in a blink, and Ambrosia means that we're guaranteed an item. And it's just a piece of heart. So there's crystal number 1 on the board for Brogor.
Yeah, definitely heads up on Brogor, remembering that an item, one of the features of Ambrosia is there's a guaranteed item on the boss. So when he did find that fighter shield in the map chest of Hera, he knows immediately, basically, he doesn't have to do anything else. There was a very, very nicely done Hera pot for him to, get all the way up there very quickly. Looks like Brogor potentially wanted to try his hand at maybe Spike Cave, remembering though, or being reminded that he does not have the Moon Pearl yet. Alright, we do see though Zelga in Skull Woods having the fire rod and knowing that this is a crystal he can clear. Well, we're going straight to the back. Alright, Brogor though, finished basically everything that he could do up on the mountain. Is going to be finishing up probably at South Shore, so he is in this case going to get, well, first item is Moon Pearl. We're going to get some confirmation what all Zelga picked up, which includes Blue Mail, Ether, and some little bit more money. Looks like though, Brogor, you know, with that Moon Pearl, with his mitts, he is not even interested in looking at Ice Rock Cave or, you know, probably doing some sequence broken flipper checks. We're going to the Dark World. Most likely, he is also interested in finding those boots that the uncle told us about. Speaking of no boots, Zelga's doing, you know, a very nice job, basically, walking, you know, and fire rodding his way, you know, here to the back. He's on Master Sword. He's got, you know, a good amount of magic left. Just gotta get this last key from the Gipto and not get grabbed. Okay. Everything's fine. Yeah, alright, so it's liking, basically, you know, trying to knock the Gipto into the spike to take a little bit more damage. Zelga hopefully can get rid of his beams at some point. So in this case, the Master Sword can hit full value, versus like the sword beams on a spider sword.
I don't think Zelga's worried about that going over here to the hammer. There it is. Nice kill.
Yeah. That is also very true. We end up having the well. Speaking of more value, you know, in those of you who are fans of Skullwoods, we did end up picking up the flippers, and again, you know, another probably more, you know, routing decision for Ambrosia, guaranteed item on the boss. In this case, it happens to be, you know, the flippers, which is very good, and certainly very required because Swamp Palace is a crystal today.
As we're now listening to Brogor's mix over here, playing as the Final Fantasy VIII music pack that was developed by Zelga.
Oh yeah, that is true. Zelga, you know, not only, of course, you know, is he, you know, a top X runner, you know, 3rd place last year in the main tournament. I believe also he did a 3rd place unofficial, you know, for the last Krosky's tournament as well. Crazy good at spoiler, but also he does, you know, give back, you know, in this case, you know, for the, you know, musical experience of the community. Author of several very good MSUs.
And Brogor, pretty solid in the community too. Unfortunately, Brogor is not going to be moving on in this tournament, but they're one of the names that have come along over the last year or so, definitely for sure. And I know I've ran into them in the Cross Keys tournament last summer, and they showed off a lot of skill in there too.
Oh yeah, I think it was Brogor, Magno, and Tato. They were all on the lead team together. I mean, and you know, the rate at which people are improving and you know, getting better at this game is absolutely bonkers.
and Magno is going to be playing a little bit later on with a chance to get themselves a spot in the playoffs or the brackets, I believe. Anyways, Zelga gets the second item of Skull Woods. Turns out to be a heart container and flippers in there. Not a pretty bad haul, I would have to say.
Yeah. I mean, Blue Mail certainly does help, you know, especially we are in the Dark World. But yeah, a little bit of extra health, you're really not ever going to complain about it. That is our 4th sword on Bumper Ledge. Zelga, of course, doesn't have the tempered yet from Paradox Cave. He also doesn't have the cape from rescuing the old man quite yet. But that's going to be something that he is going to keep in mind. But then ends up, you know, once he gets his 3rd sword in Paradox Cave, eventually he basically was just going to put it out of his mind.
And that is, we're probably not going to see him go for Bumper to get that. His 3rd sword will be coming from the mountain when he does get up there to Paradox. We do see the Breadsmith chain coming up here for Brogor, which is something that Zelga cannot do at this stage due to the lack of the Titan's mitts. So more chances for us to figure out where everything is in this seed.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, especially, what we know, we just saw that, the Mists were on Death Mountain. We don't have a lamp, we don't have a flute, so we really don't have logical access to get up there. This is certainly something that Brogor most likely is, thinking about or keeping in the back of his head. But you're certainly not going to sacrifice efficiency when you're here.
That poor skull.
Yeah, all of these chickens, man. They've already suffered enough once. They don't need to be suffering anymore. Oh, hey, our first bottle. That's also pretty cool.
That is correct. Our first bottle being found right there by Brogor, and Zelga's going to be showing us what's inside at least the first 4 of Pendant Thieves. We know we're not going to get all 4 items out of the first 4. Now we know we're not going to get 3 items out of the first 4.
Yeah, Pendant Thieves Town, no boots. At least we have the mirror so we can get out a little bit faster. We do see our first bottle on Zelga's side.
Yep. So therefore, both runners will have the chance to turn in the sick kid, which yields 20 rupees.
Well, I mean, maybe that was his, milk money or something like that. Man, all right. So we had small key, a bottle, big key, and a map. Oh, jeez. Pendant Thieves Town in the front. We only ended up getting 1 item. It looks like though Zelga, not mirroring out. Looks like he is ended up gonna finish the dungeon.
Yeah, I kind of think he's being forced into this by the fact that number 1, you only got 1 item out of the first 4. Number 2, this is Ambrosia, so the boss is guaranteed to have an item. Number 3, this is Green Pendant.
Oh, yeah, that's a good reminder, too. That's right. We also see that, on our tracker that, yes, we end up getting an additional item, when we eventually go over to the Eastern Palace pot area.
Brogor is saying no to this Thieves Town. And going into... This is quite the tour we have with this purple chest.
Yeah, I'm wondering actually if the purple chest right now is kind of influencing his decision, because the purple chest is it will still stay active if you only do the front 4, but I think once you end up going down to the basement, I want to say that it kind of goes back to its original home.
I did not know that.
Yeah, right, and I think it's because of like how blind works, right? Because you have to get the maiden to kind of follow you.
Oh, follower, yes.
Yeah. I want to say it's the basement, but I don't quite know like the exact details. I know that once you end up talking to her, basically she's gone, or that the chest is gone.
And somebody asking, how does the game expect us to get to Paradise? We're hoping to find out that answer real soon, because we have no answer just yet. Brogor's going to find out about the 4th sword over here on Bumper Ledge. Probably head on straight over to... we're going for the 4th sword. Okay.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. This is it's certainly not unheard of. But of course these runners are probably more than capable of basically finishing up the game in with only tempered.
Mouse, you know what I think this is? I think Brogor thinks that he sequence broke the mountain. Zelga didn't, so he's trying to maximize the breaking of the mountain at this point.
Oh yeah, that also could be very true. Oh, interesting. All right, so Brogor also, he got the sword. Looks like he's going to turn in the purple chest right now. I was maybe thinking that, if he wanted to try and do Graveyard Lodge, since he was kind of close.
Yeah, that's what I thought he was going to do.
All right, meanwhile, though, Zelga doesn't actually look like he found too much in the back of Thieves Town. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But he is on blind, hoping to stay on script and then claim his last item from blind, also the green pendant.
I do think you were correct in that regards, but blind is down, and that's not a required item, but we still don't know about that green. We don't know about that green pendant yet.
Brogor,
such an unorthodox route here,
Yeah,
but
it is actually quite, for also for for Zelga, and Broger, right? The early mirror, from the lossless drop down, basically means that they didn't have to necessarily, do kind of like one of the, I would say, like more standard, light broke opening routes, right? Like you saw that Zelga didn't even check, the south of Kakariko, race game, and library, because he knows that, well, I can just combine it now with like Dick game. Just like Broger, right? Got the mirror, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to, come down here, and I'll just combine it when I turn to the purple chest.
okay, where did we get the book from?
We got the book from Paradox.
All right, so
Yeah.
that's going to be leading into some decisions here from Brogor too. That explains. Oh, the bow!
That is important. I mean, of course, there are two bows out there, but that is definitely 100% in logic. Well, in logic, once we find the flute or the lamp. But Broger is going to be very happy to have that bow before he goes over to Eastern Palace / Pod.
Zelga heading over here to Swamp Palace can be a beatable dungeon at this stage.
Oh, right, yeah, that's also a very good reminder. Zelga's routing in this case, has basically, led him down here. Unfortunately for Zelga, he is still on Master Sword. He does know where Tempered Sword is, because he did spot it on Bumper Ledge. And of course, we know where the 4th sword is, which is on Paradox. We know he's not going to get the 4th sword here in Swamp, so coupled with the fact that he doesn't have any boots, Argus might be a little bit slower.
I am surprised that Brogor did not follow this play up with the trip into desert, but probably wants to have the boots in case that the key turns out to be on the torch, or an item he needs is on the torch. But I mean, this is where Ambrosia can also do you wrong, because you're seeing, I think, and this is what Chad has been pointing out, that Brogor has been chasing that boots hint pretty hard at this point by checking a lot of Dark World.
Yeah, and it should be, for clarification, I think the purple chest is actually considered to be in the Dark World, just because, well, it lives in the Dark World. It should not be on Dark Death Mountain, just because I think that is a separate hint on zone. But you are absolutely correct, Rick. Like, the observation is very on point. Broger really wants to move fast.
That's the other bow!
Alright, well, never mind. Broger's gonna get silvers. Is Dark Death Mountain really on? Okay, all right. I will confer to chat in this case for that hint.
And we're now going to follow this up with a trip over to Catfish, as Zelga dives over here inside of our second crystal dungeon. This is being Swamp Palace.
Yeah, Broger looks like though he is going to give a Catfish our visit. Now we are, I would say, not really high on Dark World locations, yet. So this is certainly going to be very reasonable for him. With the mirror and with almost 1,500 rupees, this is also a very good combination, with Zora. If he knows how to and sell a fake flipper, he can probably sequence break out the waterfall as well. He has, more than enough ammunition to do it. Kind of just depends on, I think, what he's comfortable with here.
All right, Catfish out of the way. Gives us our boots right there.
It is the boots. Broger doesn't care about anything in the light world apparently, but we are very happy to be able to move fast.
Map and compass, side by side. You hate to see it.
Oh my gosh. And Zelga is, I'm sure he's just thinking in his head, I can't believe I just got the map and compass. Do I have to come back to Left Side Swamp right now without boots and without a sword in order to get, the remaining items?
As we see, Brogor heading straight for Eastern Palace with now the bow and silver arrows. And there's still one underlying thing that we still have to figure out, Clear Mouse.
And what's that, Rick?
How are we supposed to get on this mountain?
That has been the question for the last basically half an hour. Hopefully, Eastern Palace is a Sphere 1 location. Broger is hopefully going to give us an answer to that question. Of course, the trend, of course, especially on Zelga's side, is that he is probably not a fan of this dungeon. But, we ended up just finding, let's say, like the lamp here, right? Everything's going to be in logic. Probably the more questionable thing is that if we end up finding the flute, because the flute, would have basically saved us a lot of, time. Let's say, like traveling on the overworld, right?
I wouldn't be surprised if Zelga follows this up with a trip to the pyramid, gets that bow, then the catfish to get those boots.
Oh yeah, that actually would be a very reasonable play. We can't end up doing, let's say, like Pyramid Fairy right now, so there's not really, much of a reason, to kind of put the pyramid off. And, you're right here, right?
I do agree.
Mm-hmm. All right, Zelga. Unfortunately, as I would say, almost to be expected, having map and compass both in the flooded chest. I don't actually know if we end up getting, the big key as well, but yeah, there are at least 2 items back here, on left side. So Zelga is gradually coming back. All right, no key. Okay.
Which, by the way, will now officially place this Eastern Palace as lamp locked, so we will not be seeing the infamous lamp on Armos nights this time around.
All right, yeah.
It's always fun when you get the lamp off the Armos night.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Advanced Logic. We got the fire rod as our very first check of the game, which was in Link's house. So, if the big key is not lamp locked, right, basically, not in this vanilla location, there are torches in that dark room, which means that you can get up there perfectly well.
Solid runners like Zelga and Brogor, they don't have to worry about that dark room. That Mimic room can be, or not Mimic, that Igor room can be rather challenging for new runners, because if you lose sight of those Igors, and it's easy to do, if you get both of them activated, that room can become a nightmare fast.
And it's not even just for new runners, even veteran runners. It's not like, the Igors look at you and say like, oh, okay, you've been running this game for what, the last 2 years? Okay, I guess I'll go easy on you. These guys don't discriminate. They're going to chase after you, and they will always do 1 heart of damage. And you actually see how fast they move, especially if you can't see them, but they can see you. Your health is going to go down pretty dang quickly.
And when you don't have a whole lot of health to begin with, let's just say those fairies that are in that pot that you could drop down into, they're not going to help you all that much.
Yeah. Oh, hey, look, Zelga has finally made his way over to left side swamp. At least he has the hook shot to do this, but yeah, no boots also does make things a little bit, on the slower side. But let's see in this case if left side swamp's gonna have anything good for us. We've got 10 bombs, which at that point Zelga's probably not too thrilled about.
And that big key, which we know Zelga's not thrilled about.
Oh my gosh, yeah, this is, well, yes, and we're getting to see more content from Zelga on Swamp Palace, because now he gets to walk all the way back to the big chest to see what the last item is. Meanwhile, though, Brogor blinked in, and we did miss it, apparently, because, silver arrows on Armos, very fast kill. Brogor is already on the map with his second crystal.
I'll give you more content. Here you go.
Alright, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Sorry, so we got 13 bombs, basically coming back into Swamp Palace.
Yay.
Alright, of course. Alright, Brogor's gonna check out, finishing up the Eastern Palace area for him. No green pendant from Thief's Town means that we cannot end up turning it in versus Zelga. Man, the back of it's awful. Oh my gosh.
Looks like Zelga's going to be checking to see what we have up. Excuse me. We're going to see what we have up on this island here. We didn't get to see it earlier.
Oh, right. Yeah. Basically, so Zelga, of course, got the flippers, off of Mothula, which Brogor, of course, hasn't been over there. But yeah, we basically haven't seen any of the water checks, even sequence broken or not. We also have, a ton of money. We have also not seen Sora, which is in logic for both of them, just because we have those gloves.
All right, Brogor heading for desert. Single arrow on that ledge. We ain't getting that.
Nope. Of course, yeah, no flute means that, Brogor cannot basically flute to 6 and kind of backdoor his way into desert, but with that book that he, well, still sequence broke from our perspectives, we don't know where that lamp or flute is. We're gonna have to go through, desert the front way from that book that we found in Paradox Cave.
Watch the floopy here.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's actually pretty good knowledge then. If we're then, where the lamp would be then. Well, the lamp would be somewhere. We just don't know where, but it would certainly limit the places we're.
All right. A lot of people were commenting about Brogor not going into desert. I know we made a comment ourselves, but Brogor made the right decision. This is a hard boot required desert palace.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of boots, though, Zelga basically after the tedium of left side swamp, he is back on his boots hunt. He's going to get his bow here on Pyramid very shortly, and then hopefully for his sake, he is going to go to Catfish, which will have in this case, the boots for him.
Mouse, I have one concern about this.
What is your concern, Rick?
And that is that this could possibly pull Zelga to do the Eastern Pod play before the Catfish, but that does not appear to be the case. He is going to make the play to go to Catfish first.
Yes, that is very, very good for Zelga. He is going to be, vastly rewarded in this case, with the boots. Unless he, okay, so this is going to be a small detour to Graveyard Ledge. It's going to be, probably one of the best times he's going to be able to do it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but this is only a detour. He is definitely going to go back to Catfish. Meanwhile, though, Brogor, so the Desert Palace, key layout means that it was, probably the most amount of time you had to basically spend. You have to go all the way to the right side in order to go get the big key from his vanilla location, and then you have to go all the way to the left side in order to get the one item, which is the big chest. But now Brogor can safely go back to Lamos and claim his, third crystal.
Somebody in chat was asking if Zelga seems behind. It's kind of hard to tell because of the fact that Brogor sequence broke the mountain, which did yield some items, but Zelga is also getting progress in his own way, like, for instance, that Flippers that was in Skull Woods. Now, unfortunately, he full cleared the Swamp Palace, came up empty, but Brogor didn't really come up with a lot of success in that Eastern Palace check either, which obviously Eastern Palace you had to go through and do, and Swamp Palace there's a way to probably bypass some of it, but this is a case here where it's still too hard to tell because the routes have been so separate since about the 15-minute mark.
Yeah,
even before then.
Yeah, and and Brogor, chances are, it's still, I would say, like, it's not like early, but it's like mid game, right? We're still actually missing good amount of stuff. The chances are Brogor is going to basically do the exact same thing as Zelga. In Swamp, is basically just full clear out the entire place. All right.
Now I will tell you that if it does turn out to be that there's something nice on Sahasrahla, that kind of swings this race back towards Zelga's favor.
Yeah, Brogor, it looks like he's trying to take down Lamo using a hybrid, technique of silver, the fire rod, and the gold sword, it looks like. But eventually does claim his third crystal. And of course, we do see that, Swamp Palace is our other 5/6 crystal, from our tracker. Brogor, of course, cannot complete Swamp Palace because he doesn't have the flippers yet, from Macula. Alright, and yeah, I would say, like, probably the other, thing that is not really hurting Zelga per se, but there is still, a very apparent offense difference. Zelga is still on Master Sword. Brogor is on Gold Sword. The amount of time it basically will take to kill enemies is it's going to be definitely swinging in Brogor's favor.
Alright, Zelga's going to be starting over here at Link's house and has opted against the... I have a feeling Zelga's not going to finally break the mountain.
You might be correct here, Rick. Given the fact that he is starting a Sanctuary, means that this most likely is going to be a mountain play. I guess I was curious to see if he wanted to try and, head over to the Eastern Palace area first. He does, picked up the bow from Pyramid. Oh, looks like maybe this could be boost checks.
Honestly, I think Zelga wants to get more information about this seed and find out whether or not he really truly has to do the Palace of Darkness, because he's already sunk his time into Thieves Town. He's already done Left Side Swamp, so maybe he's trying to minimize any potential time losses here.
No, that was actually a very excellent point. There was a very good reminder, of course, lit up also on our tracker, is that Zelga did invest the time into the back of Pendant Thieves Down. We don't think there's actually anything of value in the back. We don't know what that green pendant is, but that also might be weighing on Zelga's mind. Maybe I need to, spend more time not doing pendant dungeons, or at least have a better informed decision about it. Alright, meanwhile though, Brogor, fake flippering from his perspective, sequence breaking into Ice Palace because he still doesn't know where the flippers are. But it is going to be another crystal for him, eventually when he ends up making it. We did pick up the Kena... Sorry, Brogor picked up the Kena Samaria from that treasure trove that is a Paradox Cave, so he's certainly going to have a much faster time. Hopefully, Zelga does not, in this case, come to Ice Palace before the Kena Samaria. Which, of course, if he's already up here in the mountain, he should be fine.
So Zelga's going to wind up getting the Titans up here, and then the other big question turns out to be, is the Ice Rod up here?
Oh no. Oh yeah, that's true. When Brogor was up here earlier, we did find the mist, but he had no pearls, so nothing in Dark Death Mountain. So Zelga's been able to basically give us, all of those extra checks, right? Super Bunny, Hookshot Cave. There is also Spike Cave now available. We just said that Brogor maybe tried to do that earlier, but of course no pearl means, well, we weren't getting it. Oh, I assume Brogor has been counting items because it looks like as he's basically skipping the spike chest, means that he probably ended up getting 2, and then he knows that the last one, because his Ambrosia, is going to be on the boss. Alright, Zelga picking up his very nice fighter shield. Gonna try and do the boot setup. Gets it actually relatively quickly. And of course, hopefully he does also remember that Moldorm in this case has the last item. Looks like he does.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely go through that mindset, and of course doing the Hera pot is a whole lot easier when you get that item in that lobby chest, because then you don't have to worry about anything else in this dungeon. As long as you remember that it's Ambrosia.
Yeah, that's right. And it's certainly very reasonable for runners to kind of remember that early on. It's like, oh yeah, like the Ambrosia definitely item on the boss. After 3 or 4 dungeons in, they're kind of maybe more like fears or something, right? You just kind of eventually you kind of forget maybe because you have like 50 other things kind of like going on in your head.
All right, so nothing inside of this Ice Palace. Nothing that moves along this story for us. Zelga is going to give us a spike check here, I believe. Yes, this was something that we couldn't see from Brogor because they did not have the Moon Pearl coming up here. So this will be a key check in just a moment.
Yeah,
we're doing Ancilla fake flippers into the water.
Yeah, really nice, actually. That was very cleanly done.
Ice Rod Spike Chest!
Oh my gosh. Actually, so this is a little bit of I think PRG, because I was at like the last seed that Zelga raced versus Will. Like it was inverted keys, but the Ice Rod was also in Spike Cave, so like he had to go all the way around to get to Spike Cave, get the Ice Rod, and then go all the way back to Trinex, like in Turtle Rock. In order to, that was like I think his 9th mountain climb or something like that. But that is quite the location for that Ice Rod.
So little does Zelga know that once he gets done with his Paradox,
that is amazing. Yeah,
that's gonna be go mode.
Rick, I was just going to ask you about like, like we're 45 minutes in, like what else do we need for go mode? Apparently, it was just the Ice Rod. All right, okay, Rick, where is our logical Dark World, Death Mountain access? Like, where is the lamp? Where is the flute?
I don't know at this point. It probably is on that green pendant that Zelga never is going to turn in.
All right, yeah, okay. Book. Oh yeah, book, mitts, red boomerang, tempered sword, and Kena Samaria. All right. Major items. Yeah, Zelga's
47 minutes and 1 second. Zelga's in go mode.
That is actually really. that's just so fast. All right, though looks like though, yeah, Brogor did not do a check. Maybe he. Oh, I don't know if he mismarked something.
Oh, he did desert, but of course he can't do swamp. He may have thought it was Ice Palace the other 5-6.
Yeah. Okay, that certainly is very reasonable. Because I'm certain that Brogor did a map check earlier, but in this case, if he just happened to mismark his red crystals, then maybe that was actually maybe a reason why he decided to sequence break out to Ice Palace.
Yeah, I agree. That's an unfortunate oops there for Brogor. It was Quake, which we found out the digging game. That was the required medallion to get into Turtle Rock. And with this, Zelga is going to be able to just do off these last remaining 4 dungeons,
Four dungeon go mode. Wow. Now, of course, right. So Turtle Rock, you can't save, as much time.
Lamp! Oh, there it is!
Wait. So that means so where's the flute then? The flute has to be available somewhere, right?
No,
because we have the mirror, right? We have the mirror, and the boots are on Catfish, and we got the mirror like I don't know, check 6 or something like that, and the Lost Woods drop down. We got a glove in Kakariko, and all our Darkhold access. Yeah, 100%. That is, jeez. What a fun game we play, Rick.
Your definition of fun may be a whole lot different than mine or these two runners.
Yeah. I was also just thinking. Oh, right. So back to Zelga's side. He is in Turtle Rock, so he is depending on the key layout. Chances are he's going to have to go through the bulk of the dungeon anyway. He probably might be able to save himself some a trip to the outside, and depending on the key layout. Desert Palace, he's probably not going to save as much time over Brogor, just because we did see that the big key was on the full right side in his vanilla location. So he does have to go through, most of Desert as well. And, Eastern Palace, Vanilla Big Key. So he's going to go through basically all of that as well.
I will say, if Zelga finds the flute, then he can find a way to actually save some time there.
That's also very true, yeah.
That's kind of a small case scenario at this stage, and Zelga's not really caring about any other items at this stage in the run. It's pretty solid. He's got the regular bow. He's not going to get the silvers at this stage. He's not going to get the gold sword.
Yeah, Zelga has played like spoiler or lower percent, for quite some time. He's really very good at it. So gold sword, I wouldn't even consider it to be like a luxury. It is more of just like a decadence at that point for him. So he's certainly more than happy to kind of do without it.
Just as a reminder of the stakes of this race.
Yeah, right. So it's just, in this case, Zelga, if he ends up, kind of taking the win over Brogor, Zelga will secure his top seed coming out of groups, which will put Will WC as the number 2 seed in Group A. Brogor, I think here is just for his experience to play against Zelga.
Yeah, this match means little to Brogor. This is more of what's going to be between Zelga and Brogor at this point. But yeah, if Zelga wins, he's number 1 out of this group at 5-1. Probably be lower teens, maybe near 10. I don't exactly know. Obviously, there's still a lot of matches today to be played out to figure out the entire seedings. There's even not any sort of knowledge in regards to who's number 1 at this point in time. Currently, Andy sits with the number 1 spot, but that all depends what happens tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, this is the second to last day, of groups, basically wrapping up, and yeah, a lot of matches today. A couple matches, kind of trickling in tomorrow. We are all very tense and excited, basically, to see what the bracket's going to shape up to.
Yeah, and since we have a few moments here, we'll tell you about some of the key races today. Like, for instance, we got Chelsea X Lynn versus Wall Kicks today at 3 o'clock. Wall Kicks wins to move Big Duncan along, but if Chelsea X Lynn wins, we've got ourselves a race off in that Group A. Over in Group F, there could be potential chaos with Homemade Beer and Killer App. If Killer App wins that race, he takes number 1 in that group. That's going to be at 2 o'clock today. Group H, it's a battle for number 1 in that group between Humbug and Gigglemesh. Coming up here and just starting off in just a few minutes, Magno versus Latebit. If Magno wins that race, they clinch their spot in brackets. If Latebit wins, we've got a tiebreaker in Group N.
Yeah.
Group P, Obscure Life Form versus Darkened Sky. The winner of that race makes it into the brackets. Group Q, Zero Rush versus John Snooge. Zero Rush needs to win one of the two to make it in over Ninban. Group S, Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna versus Master Aaron Snur. They're going to be doing a doubleheader today, 310 and 610. If Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna wins one of those two, they're in. Scholzer tomorrow. If they make it in, they're going to be the number 1 seed with a win. Overall number 1 seed in brackets. And Swedish Arctic Fox is playing Win and You're In.
Oh, that's a pretty hefty amount of pressure, right? It's basically, kind of like sudden death at that point. You have to win this match in order to stay in the tournament.
Yep, so for those of you who are just tuning into this match here, Zelga in Go Mode, Ice Rod turned out to be in Spike Cave, and I don't see Brogor having a reason to go back up to the mountain until it's time to go into Turtle Rock. Sadly, the thing to complete Turtle Rock is up there.
Yeah, and right, and certainly for Brogor's sake, you do hope that he visits like either Tablet and Spike Cave, first before he makes the dive into Turtle Rock. But it's certainly also very reasonable for him to, just say, the Ice Rod, where is its most likely location? According to the stats, it's in either Mimic Cave or it's on Laser Bridge, right? So, but of course we know for this particular seed that the Ice Rod is in Spike Cave. And yes, right, and of course, the good news for Brogor, or the better news, is that, because the Ice Rod is in Spike Cave, well, he does not have a very strong motivation, as Rick said, to kind of go back out there versus a lot of the other, off the mountain locations. It is not completely isolated, actually, no, is it? Never mind, because I want to say that he didn't check Ether Tablet, but maybe he already did.
I don't know about Ether, but he definitely does have reasons to get back up on the mountain later on.
Yeah, no, never mind. Forget everything I just said, because I'm pretty sure he did check Ether Tablet before when he went to do Hera, because he got the book early because he sequenced Brogor Paradox. Okay, you know what? Brogor, we need good feelings for Brogor in order to do Spike Cave at this point. Alright, Brogor though, alright, doing his diver down, saving himself a sword spin, also being presented with the bad news that it is in fact the map and compass here in the flooded room.
So I'm going to go back to something I said earlier in this run.
What's that, Rick?
At the very beginning, about how the difference of this race could come down to who waits until they have the Moon Pearl before going up to the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
That totally is what caused this change of fate here. Brogor went up the mountain without the Moon Pearl, which we found in Mini Moldorm Cave. Brogor was unable to go into Spike Cave, whereas Zelga was. And right now we're looking at an unfortunate situation where Brogor is going to have to get back up there at some point in time, but I just really hope he does it now before going into some place like Thieves Town. Or Palace of Darkness.
Oh my gosh, dude, you are 100% correct. We've been so focused, basically, on, what's been happening, that stuff that people have already done. Yeah, there are a lot of, more appealing options, from Brogor's perspective, right? Pod has, 6 items, right? Thieves Town has 3 items in the back, plus the Green Pendant, which is another 4. These places look a lot better than that. Let me go up to Spike Cave, for thy one-off check. But of course, we know that, Brando doesn't have to be convenient. But the good news for Brogor here is that he decided he's going to skip out on Left Side Swamp. He is not going to go back in, and it's definitely going to save himself a little bit of time.
Yeah, he's going to go to Pyramid Ferry, and I hope we don't find the flute. I hope we do
Oh.
not find the flute here.
That is a very excellent point. Yeah, Brogor was certainly very set on doing Pyramid Fairy because you did see that he did try to do this after Ice Palace. Corrected his mistake. In this case, got his actual 5/6 from Swamp, and now we're gonna go to Pyramid Fairy. But yeah, the flute right now, while it is still great for mobility, it's just gonna lead him down, rabbit holes that we don't want, right? There's like Mire Shed, and there's Checkerboard Cave, all just basically time wasters at this point, and of course the danger is Mire itself.
Yep, and that is exactly why I bring it up right there, because it's just gonna send him down the wrong path, and we really don't want that at this stage. I see Brogor trying to set up an ability to dash with the boots with the bomb. Probably didn't, given the issues there, gain a whole lot of time out of that. And we get 20 rupees and a heart. Thankfully, no flute.
Yeah. Alright, see that in this case, Zelga is making very quick work of this dungeon. Fortunately, again, just because of where the vanilla big key where the big key is located in its vanilla location, Zelga is basically, doing the same amount of content and coverage, that Brogor had done. And of course, Zelga is here with the boots, so it's going to be pretty much a wash. And of course, Zelga is, not going to ever basically get that lamp at this point, and so he's going to do the rest of this place, well, in the dark, but certainly not going to be concerned to him.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Zelga and Brogor, again, they're both skilled runners, so they know how to do things in the dark. It's not a concern. Now one of our fears is starting to come true. Look where Brogor is heading.
Oh no, oh no.
This is going to be to pay the monkey and go into the Palace of Darkness. 5 items inside, but none of them will be the ice rod that he's seeking.
Yeah, and again, from Brogor's perspective, right? Pod is a very dense location, right? He kind of didn't want to put this off, maybe for some potential better options, but there are 5 items here, right? And
yep.
Yeah,
and I really can understand what's bringing Brogor here. It's just knowing what we know here, getting to watch both of these streamers side by side. We know that Brogor is in a world of hurt at this point as far as this run is concerned.
Yeah.
This is going to be a massive time sink.
Man, I mean, and it's I don't even think it's really any thing that Brogor did intentionally. It just happens to be in this case, right? The Paradox Cave, when he sequence broke up the mountain, had so many good things, right? I think he, but we ended up finding the book in Paradox, which of course did give us our logical access to desert, but it also gave Brogor the option at the time when he was up there doing Hera to check Ether Tablet, and so just as a consequence, Spike Cave is kind of now by its lonesome. Which then
it is, but it's not, because if you really wanted to think that the Dark Death Mountain could have something, your play could be to check out Checkerboard, to go ahead and check out Super Bunny.
Oh yeah, that is true too.
But unfortunately, there's nothing else that incentivizes Brogor getting up there, because I know I really know, thinking the way Brogor might be thinking at this point in time, I don't want to go up and do Turtle Rock until I know for certain that the ice rod has to be up there.
Right. Yeah, and Pod certainly is going to be very reasonable, just because he maybe try to like hedge some bets, right? Because I think you mentioned this earlier, Rick. A mountain trip is not cheap, right? You can bleed a lot of time if you go up the mountain too many times, right? And I think maybe Brogor is trying to hedge that. Like, hey, there's half magic at least. We also did find a fairy in a bottle, which I think was our maybe third bottle. I mean, all these great safeties and luxuries. Brogor at this point, I think he is looking for the ice rod. He really wants the ice rod. He probably won't turn any of these things down, but certainly not the things that he's looking for. Meanwhile, Zelga is making incredibly good progress. He is in his last crystal dungeon before basically heading up in order to try and find that GT Big Key and defeating Aghanim 2 and Ganon. And I think also we saw on Brogor's side that well, I mean, it's certainly gonna be go mode for Zelga. He's probably gonna spend even less time, but even if he wanted to spend more time here, I think all the items were just basically right on the path. Yeah, and at this point, so we know, of course, on Brogor's side, when he ended up breaking out his mitts early from a Dark Death Paradox Cave, Brogor had the option of basically doing, Smith Chain and Purple Chest, which is where the silvers are. From Zelga's perspective, it looks like, he might be willing at this point to open up, something that literally is, like, right next to him, right? But in terms of actual offense, I don't know if it's actually going to be worth it for him to open up anything that's like not directly on his path.
Yeah, he's only going to be opening up things that don't take a whole lot of effort in order to do. Like you just saw how he just blew by that chest. He's going to open up this one, but he's not opening up anything that requires like more than probably 3 or 4 seconds. I don't know what happened there with Brogor. That just was unfortunate. And now does the wise thing by resetting that room. And by the way, let's be fair here to Brogor. Zelga made the sequence break up the mountain too, but Zelga waited a little bit longer before doing the break. So that's kind of what the difference was. It's that Brogor, sequence breaking the mountain wasn't the issue, it's just Brogor did it too early. The fact that Brogor's sequence broke the mountain before checking South Shore and finding out that the Moon Pearl was down there, and oh no, whoops. Alright, so Zelga needs to get a little magic. Ran out of magic for the Cold Stir fight.
Man, that is really. Hopefully, this doesn't tell Zelga too much.
If you're Zelga, you're probably a little annoyed at that point in time, but good runners have the ability to calm down from things like that and don't let it linger. Like, okay, yes, bad things do happen in a run. The difference that separates some of these more solid runners from some of the other runners is how fast you can let things like that go by.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, and especially, well, this is still a fairly high stakes match. I mean, in that it is a tournament match. You're in groups. Zelga probably won't stress out too much about the result, but I mean, you are still in the middle of this race, and you probably will think, I cannot believe this happened. I have to go do Ice Palace again. Like, where the heck is my opponent? I'm just waiting for the dot at this point.
But yeah, now Brogor's going back up to the mountain, and we're going to get into Spike Cave. In honesty, guess what? We may not have been writing. We may have not written off Brogor. We may have written off Brogor a little too soon.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome! Good job, Brogor! He is doing what we know in this case is the correct play, which is he is going to get his Ice Rod right now.
That mistake for Zelga with Cold Stare may have just cost him the race. Because at 106.31, Brogor is in go mode. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, no, this certainly has tightened things up quite a bit. So Brogor's going to head up the mountain right now. Gonna go to Turtle Rock, and then he's gonna go over to Ganon's Tower. Zelga is right now just finishing up Ice Palace. Hopefully, won't
Now,
mishaps.
Mouse.
Yes,
Zelga still has a lead. Brogor still has to go through all of Turtle Rock. But this just tightened up this race to the point that Brogor still has a shot in this.
Oh yeah. I mean, right. That and you know stuff like GT routing, can also make a difference. Brogor does have silvers over Zelga, so it is going to be a little bit of a time save on Ganon especially. Gold sword's not going to make too much of a difference, but Brogor is going to incrementally be a little bit faster just because he can slash everything with one hit.
Zelga still has the lead. Don't get us wrong here. That is the case, and Zelga is going to be the first one into GT. But don't die! Please do not die!
Oh God, Zelga. Zelga's doing great. He is mentally fortified.
There we go.
He is on a blue mail as well, so he does have a little bit of protection. He
there we go.
Get hit by Cold Stare.
I worried about that because a death there would have been even more devastating. All right, with that is crystal number 7 for Zelga. We are about to head into Ganon's Tower. Clear Mouse!
Yes, Rick!
You know the spiel.
Oh, well, I see a bunch of numbers in chat, so feel free to put in 1 through 22 for where you think that GT big key is. For our sake, I hope that it's on the lower side, because, we want to be kind to our runners, especially Zelga, since I think he is kind of interested in finishing the seed, sooner rather than later.
So there are 22 possibilities here in the Ganon's Tower where this big key can be. Pick a number between 1 and 22. Tell us where you believe the big key is going to be. And I'm going to say it's a number 7 today. Number 7?
Okay. I am also, kind of scrolling through chat here. Rick, do you think we're going to find the flute before the game is over? Because, Brogor basically gave us, a good amount of checks and pod. We didn't see a flute show up there.
Flute's probably on Zaha's roulette at this point.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's true. Zelga, had no need in order to turn in that green pendant. Yeah, so between Zelga and Brogor, right? So Zelga basically did all of Thieves Town he did the back of Thieves Town. He did, Ice Palace, unfortunately, twice. Brogor basically has done, all of Palace of Darkness over Zelga. Yeah,
so Zelga unfortunately did Thieves Town, and then wound up doing Turtle Rock, had to go back through Ice Palace because of running out of magic. As Brogor is still going through this first section, so Zelga does have a commanding lead in this race. It's not over with just yet, but it is a case here where right now Zelga does have the chance to get more of this GT looked at. All right, let's see what we have. Hope Room, 20 rupees and 10 arrows. No incentive to go to the right. Maybe that mushroom leads to the flute. Three small keys found in the staff post room.
Boy, we're looking for so many keys. Well, actually, just the one, and we're getting all the small ones instead.
Four small keys to GT. 3 of them were right there in that room.
Alright, yeah, so Zelga is still continuing his search to find that G2 big key, and of course, we know really from, from seeing what Brogor has found, a gold sword is, of course, well, Zelga also knows that the fourth sword is on Bumper Ledge, which of course Brogor did end up getting. We know that Brogor has the silvers from the chest. If Zelga is looking for anything else that will help him, it will not be in the basement or up top of Ganon's tower.
The only thing I think could really help out at this point is half magic, and
oh, yeah, that's also in pod too. So yeah, that's also not.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't even see that in pod. You're right.
Oh, but actually, but Rick, you actually do bring up a good point. So I do think that Zelga ended up restocking before he, went back into Cold Stare. But well, the not having the lamp or half magic actually does put a little bit of magic pressure on Zelga, right? He doesn't have silver, so especially phase 4 for Ganon, he is going to have to be a little bit more careful with his magic management. In addition to basically, climbing the tower.
Just need to be a little mindful of the arrow situation. Hopefully he'll pick these. Yeah, he'll have these, so that'll be 27. 27 minus 18, that's 9. Should be fine. Should he make all of his shots coming up here against... never mind, we're not going against the Ice Armos. Let's go upstairs. It's in number 14. Ooh, that was scary there for Brogor. All right, so Brogor's going to be a basement plus behind Zelga. At this point, it looks like Zelga's in pretty solid position in order to get the number 1 out of Group AF. And again, Will WC at 5-1 is going to be one of the higher seedings in the Group 2. I'm going to tell you what, though, Clear Mouse, it's not going to be easy no matter who you face in brackets.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, so we started this tournament, I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was something like, was it like 300? Hundreds of people, right? Basically.
I think it was 318, but it was over 300, yes.
Yeah, that's already a ridiculous number of entrants, right? And qualifiers, we ended up taking the top 128, and you might think 128, man, that's a lot of people, but if you actually think about, especially the field, right? You cut the field down to the top third, essentially, right? And then now, you see how good everyone is, basically competing, in groups, and now you're gonna cut down to, you're gonna cut that field down to half. Right, so you already have a pretty elite field, and then you're also taking the top half of that elite field, and it's not going to get any easier, from here on out.
All right, nice first spin, and pretty solid room right there against Lamos. And adding more time, it looks like Brogor setting up for Dark Magician.
Yeah, I mean, and one of the big reasons why people kind of choose to do this room first, Stavros room first is
he's going straight left. All right.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting as well. I was gonna say that some people like to do Stavros room first because you kind of see how uncooperative those Stalfos are, so if you happen to have the mirror, right, you can basically just kind of avoid that whole situation and just leave. But it looks like Brogor, though, is... so in this case, it's going to be good for him, in that we know that the big key is right above Ice Armos, so it's going to be a little bit faster to get over there.
So just to confirm, basically, while Zelga's climbing up this tower, Zelga and Will WC will both be 5-1 here in Group AF. Zelga and Will WC both went 1-1 against each other in their 2 matches. Now, the thing that's going to clinch Zelga the number 1 over Will WC is the fact that Zelga, coming into this, was the first quartile versus Will's 4th quartile, which is what gives Zelga the tiebreaker. And people talking about other runners here in this tournament. Right now, speaking of Andy, he is currently sitting at the number 1 seed in 2 brackets. However, he can be upended. All depends what happens with Soldier tomorrow.
Yeah, that's going to be certainly very, very interesting race to watch out for. Alright, Zelga is on Agatu. Not quite the triple I think he was probably hoping for from that cycle. The blue ball is not helping. Alright, hopefully it should just be one more in this case. But meanwhile, the Brogor making very excellent progress. You know, going to pick up his GTP key shortly, and then he'll also start his climb. Zelga looks very impatient. I think he is very anxious and eager in order to get picked up and drop down again.
And just finishing up a few more comments before Zelga finishes off the seed. Right now we have 5 runners who have gone undefeated in groups. Andy, Furious Magic, Vortex of Doom, Scottish Brave 44, and Ravis. They're all in the 6-0 club. And I just told you them in terms of how they're ranked at this point. Andy 1 through Ravis 5, but again, Soldier will make a difference on that. Also, John Snoo still has a chance to go 6-0 over there as the number 70 court qualifier.
Yeah, Bravus also set the tone for basically this entire tournament. Very first qualifier, he won first place overall with a sub-hour finish, 58 minutes. And of course, you know, are we surprised that he is 6-0? No, but is a very, very impressive feat.
Yeah, he had a pretty difficult group over there too against F. Coughlin, also PRD Wong also there.
Yeah, every single name that you've listed, or you're going to just say, you know, it's like, oh, I've heard of this person. Oh, I've also heard of this person. I've also heard of this person. I don't want to play any of these guys.
I think that's kind of the way the competition has been here in Link to the Past, but Zelga going to do the spins to win. Trying to go ahead and take care of this Ganon. 12 spins to defeat Ganon, getting some triples in there. A little early on that torch. Something that Zelga's going to need to be careful of. Does once again have that blue goo. Maybe a triple here. Needs to light the torch again. That's it. Number 12 is down. Zelga will clinch Group AF for the victory over Brogor. Get your GGs in the chat.
Yeah, no, get your GGs out in chat for Zelga clinching out the victory, which will net him a very handsome reward of being first place seed in his group.
Do glitches, get stitches. Nice message.
Yeah, of course, you know, unlike Zelga, who it does not have, in this case, gold or silver arrows, not of course. I think that Zelga's probably interested in looking to begin with, but Brogor has even less reason, in this case, in order to check any extra chests. You know, we did find powder in Stalfos' room, and so I think he's pretty stacked, in this case, with basically everything he can ask for.
And joining us now is the winner of Group AF, Zelga. GG's.
Yo, GG, Zelga.
Hey, GG's, thank you.
So, little did you know that waiting to break the mountain was kind of the thing that helped give you a win in this match. Although it did get a little tense in there for a little bit when Cold Stare happened. What wound up happening?
I think I started my little walk up the side of the shell a little too late in terms of starting my fire out shots. I've never done that before. I have never walked all the way through and missed my last shot. So that was something fun and special. But I was glad it happened in a race like this, where it was like, if I win, great. If I lose, I'm still advancing. So I'm glad to get it out of the way. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, race could have been a little bit closer, but thankfully you were able to get it done and over with. But yeah, Brogor ended up doing the mountain before having the Moon Pearl and kind of put himself a little bit further back as far as getting that ice rod out of the spike cave. Whereas you got it your first trip in.
Yeah, actually, was the ice rod there in your last seat as well? In Vertices?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Yeah.
But both of my last races in this group are decided by an ice rod in Spike Cave.
Yeah.
Shout outs to PRNG.
Yeah, I remember that. Right, but I think at that point you were like 8 mountain trips in already, in Vertices. At this point,
There
I
it
think you
is.
only one.
There it is. We got the clear mouse siren on the commentary.
Oh. Hey, it's only during the interview process, Rick.
It's still on the video. Anyways, Brogor heading into the Ganon fight. So we did get to see compliments of Brogor how you're even supposed to get up onto the mountain. So that lamp turned out to be in King's Tomb to patch that logic together.
Okay. Yeah, I had not broken logic whatsoever until finally deciding to go up the mountain, and then finding everything on the mountain was pretty scary.
What was your thoughts when you pulled out that hole out of Paradox?
My first thought was, there's no way I'm first to these items. And then second, at the time I was thinking, well, okay, I guess even if you didn't get the ice rod before Paradox like I did, I didn't even consider the fact that you might climb without the pearl, even though it made total sense to do it. So in my head, I was thinking, okay, well, even if somebody gets all that stuff before me and does Paradox, then they're going to just do like Dark Death Mountain and then end it at Spike Cave. So I kind of thought I was dead.
We're going to go ahead and interrupt for just a moment to wish Brogor a GG's as he crosses the bridge and finishes off this seed about 4 minutes behind Zelga. Good game, fun seed, was interesting. You did Thieves Town and came up empty there. Brogor wound up following the bait into the Palace of Darkness. Only got half magic out of it, but that really wasn't much of a reward in that case.
He also got a fairy in a bottle, although he did end up using it. So you're right, Rick. I also had another question for you, Zelda. I mean, I know you're not very vocal about feeling great during seeds. I was very, I guess, like happy to see you kind of keep things together. Did you feel, I guess, like even more behind, I guess, with having to do Ice Palace?
Oh yeah, I mean, I assumed that pretty much honestly, I was already feeling behind going to Ice just from knowing that I couldn't have been first to Paradox Cave. And then at that point it was, okay, well, now I've just lost, so all the pressure's off. I can just play the game. And then I get to GT and I still had a chance. I start climbing, I still had a chance. It was like I said, I just did not expect this outcome, but I think that ice rod is like the only way I had a chance.
And we welcome in Brogor to the conversation. GG's.
Yo, GG's, Brogor.
GG's.
Not sure if you said anything. I know you lit up green over here on Discord, but I didn't hear anything come out. Okay, we're going to give him just a second. Obviously, the boots being where they were was also annoying.
Yeah, that was, with the exception of Spike Cave, which is out of logic, it was my last possible Dark World spot without the mitts. So I was very close to doing it after Hype Cave, just going straight up to the Pyramid Catfish, but with the mirror, I was like, let's go left. And of course, Catfish is always kind of gross to route in if you don't do it very early.
Do we have Brogor here with us yet?
Yeah, I guess while maybe Brogor tries to resolve some technical issues, so like one difference I think, was, so certainly, Brogor had an impact for, sequence breaking up the mountain without the pearl, but I think once you end up getting Dark World access, like, it seemed like Brogor was trying to chase the boots location, like, because you guys got the hint, right? Boots are in Dark World. It looks like he was really gunning for, like, every single Dark World locations, whereas I think you seemed less, I guess, like, kind of eager to kind of break your original path.
I think Ambrosia, it's very easy to try and push the routing decisions based on the boot hint, but like if I'm already going to that portal and I know Skullwoods is a crystal, it's not like the boots save me that much time in Skull. I'm just going to go do that in terms of efficiency, I think.
Yeah, I think the flippers kind of helped you there. A couple of moments there, and Brogor tried to go to the bomb shop to pick up Pyramid Ferry, unfortunately realized that Ice Palace was not part of the 5-6.
Oh yeah, swamp and desert. That's unfortunate. There were a lot of ways. Like obviously, now that having won the race, I understand how I won. But there are a lot of routing decisions you could have made based on how you got your items from the mountain. So it makes sense that it
Hello?
was harder.
Hey,
I
we got Brogor here.
Brogor. GG's.
Hey, I found a
Yo,
second
hey.
headset. My first headset is down, I think.
Oh,
GG,
no.
Zelga.
Yo, GG's, Brogor.
So you can hear me, right? Yeah, you can. Okay, good.
Yeah,
Yep.
we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, that was a bit stupid without the moon pearl right in front of the ice rod.
Yeah, you
Just
tried to
jump
get
back
you
over.
tried to get there. Unfortunately, the game said no at that point. I think the getting up the mountain, you didn't make a mistake sequence breaking the mountain. It was just, I think, with the fact that the moon pearl turned out to be on South Shore, kind of made it a premature play at that case.
Yeah,
But
it's that one check of, what is it in total? 7, 8, 12, 13, 14 with the pen, what's it called? Ether tablet? Yeah, unlucky.
yeah, it just made it lower priority for you to get there. And like I said, I can't call it a mistake. It's more of an unlucky routing choice that turned out to happen there. But a solid effort there. Pretty good run for both of you. I'm trying to think. What were your thoughts after you went through Palace of Darkness, only to come up with half magic and no item that would lead you towards anywhere else?
Well, thought was before that play, I think in Swamp I was be like, okay, there's no way Zelga didn't at least catch up by now if he skipped that mountain, because the flippers were like, ooh, this changes a lot. If he's went to South Shore before, he may have just an entirely different Dark World routing, was my thinking. And yeah, then I'd be like, okay, I gonna have to fast clear Swamp now and maybe even dodge the obvious play. So I should have also dodged like Red Bomb, but I wanted to be like, I should be going to a pendant now, because otherwise I'm just running behind at this point. And I have to do Spy Cave though. This is something that is not behind the mids, and I knew that the lamp was mids locked. So was it?
No, it wasn't, because of the
No, it
mirror.
wasn't, right? Yeah, it wasn't. So, but I thought I could get a flute anywhere and maybe find the ice rod behind that flute. Oh yeah, it wasn't blocked behind mids. I thought it was behind mids, but it wasn't. I'm stupid. Yeah.
No, I mean, it was
But
very,
yeah,
it was
so
very
I've-
common.
Yeah, it's because of this King's Tomb. For a second, think, yeah, it's mids. Oh, it's not mids. But then I thought, like, okay, just go to pot now. Otherwise, you're running behind. And I'd be like finding that ice rod immediately after. And you wanted to do this. You didn't even want to do the red bomb. You didn't want to do the obvious plays. Yeah, I felt a bit bad there. So maybe that would have been enough to be a bit ahead of Sega today. But I didn't do it, so it didn't work out.
Yeah, it was not. I don't honestly think you made what turned out to be versus bad choices. It was just, we knew they weren't the right choices, but it's hard when you're actually holding onto that controller to know that, because you don't know how the logic's playing out as far as your seeds are concerned.
Yeah.
You don't know what your other opponent's up to. That's kind of the mystery of these kind of races.
Well, I could have just, if I felt like on even terms, like not many mistakes or something, you can still then go to Turtle Rock and save your portal, because there was like no mirror relevant checks left for me. So that would have been the smart play actually. And then after Turtle Rock, you can still do spike chest.
I do think if you had gone up to Turtle Rock, combined with what happened to Zelga and Ice Palace, this probably could have been a room for room clear of the fourth, fifth, and sixth floors of GT.
Yeah, GT didn't feel so bad, so that felt good.
Yeah, execution-wise, you guys
Except
are both very
except
on
Moldom.
we
Except
didn't
Moldom.
see any falls. Don't worry.
Okay.
We didn't notice that one. The tape will be deleted just in time for that.
Nice. Zelga distracted the whole audience here. Very good.
I'm doing my part. Appreciate it.
How about 120 item collection rate in Ambrosia?
Yeah, also very proud
Yeah,
of
it
you guys for
started very
remembering.
catchy.
Yeah, also very proud of you guys for both remembering that it is Ambrosia. You know, I saw you guys skip multiple chests, like in Ice Palace for you, Brogor. Like, you got 2 chests or 2 items already, and then you basically just went straight to Cold Stare.
Yeah, I hope for Ice Rod there, so I have a ping pong with maybe Turtle Rock for flippers, because my flippers were super late. And the purple chest baited me a bit away from Skywoods, and then I get that bow, and I'd be like, okay, this could be a good bow if Zelga's finding the boots on the other area first, and then I get the next bow right after that, and I'd be like, oh, come on.
And then of course, Catfish has the required boots.
Yes. And the second bow right in front of it. Which was Zelga's first bow, I assume, since the mids were late.
Yeah, Zelga did not get the sword that was at bumper ledge and did not get the silvers that was on purple chest. Those were the differences that you had there, Brogor.
I usually think you don't have to go for that gold sword, but I was thinking about what I should do next. And yeah, and I was, I have to admit, I was thinking which checks are really meant by Dark World. I think there is like a list in the Discord, but I don't have that known by heart. So I was like, okay, this is Dark World, this is Light World, this is Dark World. So the boots priority was to do the overworld before Skywoods, which was a bit sad, I think.
Well, I will compliment you for staying out of desert until you got those boots, knowing that what we know now, that key that was on the torch.
Yeah, with that mids, I had like too many checks to desert prior to the boots. I think I could do everything except if the flute was somewhere in logic. I don't know if the Maya area also counts as Darkwood. I think it does. The Maya
it does.
Shed. Yeah.
It does. The Maya Shed does count as Dark World.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And the flute must be somewhere in, I don't know, Ice Rod Cave, Green Pendant, or maybe Laser Bridge.
Yeah, how about that? Both of you decided that you're not going to bother with Ice Rod Cave today.
I had no flippers. It was so far away.
I mean, for me, it was like, it's the typical Ambrosia. Hey, I've got Dark World boots. I have Dark World access. It's time to go get my boots.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I think we both did that.
Your flute very well could be in that Ice Rod Cave. Then we're talking a whole different scenario.
Pretty hilarious.
We were already talking about the flute in race time. Where's the flute? I don't know. Okay, you did that. I didn't do that, and I did that. Okay, it can only be there, or there.
I mean, it could very well be in GT for all we know at this point in time.
Yeah.
Right side or on that mushroom turn-in.
True. Powder as well.
Oh, powder too, yeah. Yeah, 133 to 120. I think that says plenty. And of course, I think that right there is just simply Palace of Darkness versus not Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, but Zelga did Thief's Town, right? So.
Oh, true. That's right.
You have to give him that.
I mean, I'm sure you did the front. Like, I'm sure if you did the front of Thieves, that's like 3 checks in the back. Because I was able to skip the big chest.
I did 2. I did 2 and be like, nope, I'm out of here.
Yeah, that's right. You didn't even do the first 4.
Yeah, there's one of them is the big key. Second item will be on the boss. So like, nah, bye.
Nope, I'm out of here. Thanks for playing.
Coming back later. I have mids. Not a big time waste.
So let's go ahead and start to wrap things up for this broadcast here. Brogor, you finish up your tournament run against NY Rambler tomorrow. First of all, what mode would you like for tomorrow's race?
I think Zelga be like, I didn't even have that mode until today, and same for me. I think I had not played an Ambrosia yet. I'm not sure. I'm totally confused, and I don't even know if I have played an open heart. So I don't really care. I started to like all of them a bit. Some more, some less, but I don't know.
So if you're gonna have fun tomorrow, what mode is it going to be?
Cross keys.
Let's roll the cross keys, Rick. No one will pay attention, right?
I think Rambler will notice.
Yeah, I think our group AF all like cross keys. I don't know if.
Well,
Rambler
we'll
really
just
likes
give
it.
you. We'll just give you. I guess since you're out of inverted key sanity cards, we'll just give you a couple of key sanity seeds. There you go.
It's fine. Yeah.
And so, any thoughts you want to say as you get ready to head out of this tournament, Brogor?
Yeah, I'm just looking forward now for. No, wait, Zelga is not having to play Will now, right? Because first seed stays first seed or something like that?
Yeah, Zelga gets the number
okay.
one out of Group AF because they're the first quartile versus Will's fourth.
Then I say as my final words, I'm very sorry, Will.
It just means that Will didn't give you enough cookies. Okay, it's Will's fault. Don't worry.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, true.
I mean, the real blame here is on the Ice Rod being in Spike Cave in 2 straight races. It's really just the Ice Rod.
Moonpearl.
Well, that too.
Even Moonpearl.
We just go ahead and blame PRNG. All right. Any closing thoughts, Zelga?
Just big GGs to Brogor and everyone else in the group. This is a lot of fun, and 5-1 is a lot higher record than I thought I would have coming out of it. So, been a lot of fun. Hope to catch everyone. Will in the actual brackets. Everyone else maybe in another tournament down the line. And thank you to Rick and Clearmouse and Seryu for putting on a great show. I'm sure.
It was very fun to watch you too, as always.
All right, one final GGs for both of our runners. Be sure to give them a follow. Zelgadissan and Brogor. GGs to both of you. All right, Clearmouse, let's go ahead and wrap things up. This is it, the final day of groups, unofficially. But we still got a lot more action to come up here. As we got tiebreaker races heading into tomorrow, and beyond that, we have a lot of bracket races coming up next week, and of course, a lot of great races today, don't we?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Like, let me see if I can find out the schedule.
Go over and watch the late bait Magno race that's going on right now as we speak, because that race is a major race, and if late bit wins, that's another tiebreaker that we have coming up in this next week.
Yeah, I mean, all of the groups are basically wrapping up, but there is still tons and tons of rando basically for us to for you to watch. Basically just turn on SpeedGaming at this point, and you'll probably find a rando race at some point. This was certainly a lot of fun, and thank you again, Brogor and Zelga, for putting on such a nice race. It's always really fun to be able to commentate for you guys. Thank you, Serious X, for tracking the Paradox Mini Moldorm, sync, basically, when Zelga and Brogor basically found 10 different items back to back, was actually really intense, so you did a really nice job, basically, keeping track of everything. Rick, thank you so much. This was a blast. Looking forward to
Absolutely. So that will do it here for this tournament match. Go ahead and check out the schedule for more, and we'll talk to you next time. Thanks for watching.